I split the British Isles into 10 nations and forced 10 random players to fight until only one survived. Each state has the same industry, one infantry division in every border tile, and 2 elite divisions to push the front line. For my first game I picked another island, but back then I didn't know that my neighbor, the southern island, was played by someone with 5,000 hours in the game. So the preparation phase began, and my first move was to make my infantry divisions cheaper, so I can overwhelm my opponent in the south. I removed engineers company and made my divisions smaller. But that decision was my worst mistake. When the game started, Nico, the southern island player, decided to play aggressively. He moved his elite troops into a force attack, trying to split my country into two. That move worked, and I was standing between the choice of retreating or getting encircled. Of course, my troops retreated from Sligo to last defense line at Belfast. Seeing that my opponent's troops had less equipment, I decided to now invade Dublin and launch a counter-offensive at Londonderry. Landing forces in Dublin were too small and were destroyed by Nico's elite troops, and my attacks at Londonderry choked as well. Immediately after this, my opponent launched his offensive using force attack. Since there was nowhere to retreat, I responded with less stand on my line of defense. I was really in bad situation, but soon my opponent about to make a huge mistake which would completely turn the tides in the late game. After my offensives didn't work, I decided to change my tactics. My fleet won multiple battles at the western approaches, so I sent my marine division to secure the Isle of Man. Even this isle was protected, but starting marines strong enough to prevail against encircled units. The Isle of Man is mine, which would play a crucial role in my survival. 1 year into the game, there was no leader on the British Isles. Meanwhile, my opponent made 2 tank divisions. I cannot afford it, so reinforced my special forces with a little bit more artillery. With tanks, Nico tried to pierce my defenses at the north, but artillery worked good in narrow passes. After my counter-attack failed again, I landed infantry battalions in Scotland. Even though most of them were destroyed, this landing played an important role in reinforcing my fleet in the future. By the second year of the game, my opponent made 3 tank divisions and once again sent them into attack at the hills. Elite mountaineers repelled another tank attack. I was unable to land my forces at the main island, and my expansion stopped at the Isle of Man. So for the next half of the year, I built some casks and was constantly raiding the southern island. 1 marine division was landing in random ports, and when enemy tanks were arriving, marines just retreated to launch another raid. When Nico's tanks were distracted, my Mountaineers division launched fast south to Belfast and took the mountain tile, which was a huge victory for me. Then I repeated the exact same tactic and liberated Londonderry. With 3rd year in the game, my opponent started producing fighters. I tried to respond, but since Nico had triple of my industry, my close air support supremacy disappeared. And what's even worse for me, Nico started to make his own close air support, which basically means that I'm about to lose the game. But that time, Birmingham had conquered most of England, with Scotland and London opposing him. I needed to increase my military industry and produce more fighters. For that, I sent 2 marine divisions to Bristol and Plymouth. To my surprise, Birmingham reacted so quickly that 1 marine division didn't have time to escape. The other one retreated back and was sent to Glasgow. Scotland also reacted fast and used its artillery division. Because I was force attacking, the 2nd Marine Division was destroyed. With that, I lost 2 of my elite divisions and failed to expand my military production. I changed my plan to just hold and hope until some of the other players would land in Ireland. When my opponent made self-propelled artillery with close air support, I was praying for a miracle to happen. What? And it actually happened. In late November, fascists in the southern Ireland began march on Dublin. Even though they won, I had more score during that war, so we expanded with Connaught and Leinster. Only Cork stands between the unification of Ireland. I received a lot of industry and quickly mobilized new forces. With all of this, I began the invasion in Cork. Nico was trying to last stand, but at this moment he had no chances to prepare any good defenses. And in April, Ireland was united. I think you, as I did back then, don't understand why my opponent got Civil War event. Basically, there is mechanic in Hearts of Iron 4, when some of the party's popularity rises above 70, this party ignites the Civil War, unless you hold the referendum. Nico forgot to hold the referendum and got the Civil War, which allowed me to achieve this insane comeback. But the game was not yet won until I secured the main island. There are 3 players, Scotland, Wales and London. Every one of them has more industry than I do. But here's joins in my strongest side, the Navy. All this time I was making the best cruiser ships. All this time I was farming war score to steal players' fleets at peace conferences. My huge fleet isolated the islands from the outside world, where players could purchase additional resources, and most importantly, oil. Without fuel, the players couldn't use late-game offensive equipment, such as tanks or planes. Meanwhile, I was preparing my troops and air for the final landing in Brighton. The London managed to come back against the Wales, and now trying to finish off the Scotland. When London was distracted at the north, my marines landed in Plymouth, and with strong air support began to expand the landing site. The London mobilized new troops and set up defenses south to Bristol. I decided to overmaneuver my opponent with new landing in the east. London city soon fell, which means the England is ours. Now it's only north left. The Scotland entrenched at his line of defense at Dumfries. But with overwhelming air support and fleet, I landed at the northernmost point of Scotland and established foothold here. Scotland mobilized new troops to cover the north. But then I conducted another naval invasion. Now my marines landed at the easternmost point of Scotland. This left Scottish main line of defense with no reserves, and soon Irish troops entered Edinburgh. After that, I sent my marines to another landing operation in the west of Glasgow. Our infantry pinned every enemy division and was advancing at all directions. Soon the enemy ran out of organization and capitulated. After 7 years of the game, the British Isles was united under Belfast. It was totally unexpected victory, but we saw the game only from my perspective. Let's hold the second game, but this time I'll be the spectator. 10 random players and only 1 winner. Here starts our second game. The Northern Ireland decided to convert their special forces into regular divisions. Basically, Belfast had no artillery at the front line, and with that, Dublin began to push at Sligo using their special forces. After losing one state, the Northern Ireland rage quit and capitulates. This greatly contrasting compared to the previous game, isn't it? Neon manages to unite the island. Meanwhile, Wales concentrated his forces to the south and tried to reach La Manche. This opens his flanks undefended. Plymouth, with no resistance, enters Bristol, and Liverpool captures Birmingham. Wales lost his 2 biggest cities and capitulated. From the spicy south, we're going to the freezing north. There, Glasgow conducted naval invasion at Aberdeen, which distracted 3 of his enemy divisions. However, his southern opponent began an offensive towards the capital. Newcastle divisions even entered Glasgow, but by this time, Scotland managed to secure the north, which freed up a lot of forces. Scotland counterattacked, retook Glasgow and encircled 1 infantry division west of the city. This blows up the morale of his opponent. The player leaves, and the Newcastle is the 3rd one to capitulate. Scotland is united under Punch, and with owning 6 states, he has the most of industry now. Just a year into the game, and we got a new leader. Only meanwhile, 15 Irish divisions landed in Wales. This number scares up the Plymouth, so he decided to retreat deep back. Doing quick math, the Plymouth assumed that all Irish army is currently in Wales, so Dublin could be unprotected. In August, Plymouth tried to land in Dublin, but the island had garrison and quickly reinforced the capital. To the east, Nico as Nottingham concentrated his best divisions against the London. Elite troops quickly took the city, giving Nico good industry to catch up Scotland and Ireland. Back to west, Liverpool launched an assault to liberate Wales and kick out Dublin back. Ireland sent in their air forces and managed to encircle 7 Liverpool divisions. Seeing this, Scotland launched his assaults at the south. Liverpool troops retreating into urban area, pinning down Scottish troops into heavy battles. January 1939, Nottingham decides to secure the south. 3 tank divisions quickly force the Thames River and enters Dover. However, after secret political games, Ireland establishes Dover as their puppet government. These conditions are unacceptable for Nottingham, and they repeated march on Dover. After that, 10th Corps moved to Portsmouth, where Irish troops just arrived. Nottingham 10th Corps pierces the Irish defensive line and reaches Bristol in a couple of days. From Bristol, the 10th Corps moves to Plymouth and achieves victory. The southern and central England is united under Nico. Meanwhile, Scotland finished the siege of Liverpool and signed the Treaty of Bretislavia. Liverpool remains neutral and Yorkshire region will be occupied by Scottish troops. September 1939, the 4 years of the game. English tanks arrived in the Yorkshire region to secure the north. Like a hot knife through butter, the English tanks pierced the Scottish front line. By November, they secured the Yorkshire area and now moving west. English next offensive operation being conducted in Wales. Irish Expeditionary Forces and local Welsh Resistance Army was not in their best conditions by that time. Under-equipped and unmotivated, pro-Irish troops lost the Battle of Wrexham. Around 300,000 of them retreated to Anglesey Island, where they were encircled. Left to their fate, the trapped forces surrendered. In January 1940, English Royal Forces entered Cardiff. Welsh Resistance Army surrendered west to the city. After triumph in Wales, England declared war on Liverpool, and it took almost a year for them to liquidate the opposition. 500,000 of men surrendered north to Liverpool. England adjusted their urban siege tactics and with close air support started a new campaign against Scotland. English forces prevailed in Newcastle. Series of losses against England fired up revolt at the north. This plays into England's hands and allows them to take over whole Scotland. The Great Britain island is united and now there's only Ireland left. In June 1941, Nico's British forces got up Dublin defenders completely unprepared. Although Ireland carried out military reforms and motorized the army, the country was still unable to fully recover after its defeat in Wales. In just 3 weeks, British troops secured Belfast and Dublin. In the 4th week of the invasion, Ireland lost all its reserves and any hope of continuing the fight. On July 6, 1941, Nico defeated all 9 players and united the British Isles as Nottingham. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this, subscribe if you like what I'm doing. See ya!